I have felt a palpable narrative change with respect to Ethereum, but also ETH, the asset. Let's talk about some like new narratives on the horizon. This ultrasound money narrative, right?
Hmm.
Institutions taking ETH as a non-sovereign store of value seriously. People like Mark Cuban coming out and saying, "Yeah, Bitcoin's okay, but like I'm bullish ETH and Ethereum because of DeFi." This whole green energy debate as well. Like there has been a massive shift in narrative where it felt like the last 2 years or so, prior to 2021, everything was kind of against Ethereum from a narrative perspective. Um, y- the last 6 months have felt like a completely different world. Can you talk about the narrative shift that you felt or seen?
Yeah, and I think, as you said, Ryan, it was really something that had started a couple of years ago, where we really started to think about Ether is this important financial asset, and that's been a big mission of mine as well to help educate people about that, because I think the reality is Ether has these unique money like or valuable asset like properties that a lot of people haven't really understood. I think that DeFi helped to open the door for people to understand that. And listeners may remember during the last bull case for Ethereum episode where I talked about how the value of an asset is emergent, in the sense of it doesn't really matter what people said it was designed to be. It's really about how people use it. And we've seen that even with Bitcoin, which was at least stated in the white paper as peer-to-peer digital cash. Well, the network can't scale to support that use case, but it kind of had this value as digital gold. And that is really what it's being used as today. I think similarly, Ether, while it is gas for the network, used to send transactions, just like Bitcoin is on the Bitcoin network, has this inherent economic or financial value to it. And when I said that DeFi exposed that, what I really mean to say is it really illustrated how Ether can be used as a collateral asset. And we've seen that ever since the days of Maker, really, as collateral for DAI. But I think through DeFi Summer, we saw that explode across the board into a lot of different use cases, and how Ether is like the default LP pairing on Uniswap, and how a tremendous amount of Ether has now been locked into DeFi. I think the current number of ETH and DeFi are around 10% of the supply, or it might be a little bit less than that. But also add on, I think it's like 4 million that are staked right now, which is also a collateral use of the asset. So people are waking up to this idea of Ether as this valuable asset. And this ultrasound money meme, I think, has been interesting and controversial in a lot of ways. And I will say, I think the controversy is good because it
Mhm.
gets people to think about Ether than they might be used to. Whereas for the past few years, the narrative has been Ether is gas. Now we're really thinking about it as this money. And with EIP 1559, which I know we're going to talk about later, that supply is going to start to potentially deflate as the network is used more. And as that supply deflates, Ether becomes more scarce. So I think we're actually on the precipice of really jumping the gap into the whole world viewing Ether as the world's best kind of natively programmable asset. And I talked about during the last episode, we don't really understand how to use that kind of asset yet, but I feel like it's a unique value proposition of Ether and Ethereum, and this narrative and this opportunity is really for Ethereum to kind of seize.